And then sure after, years after, I met Rod, and then we started working together. And then I'm fulfilling our dream, which retire in Panama. And also I've been blessed and lucky. I won the lottery when I met Megan. Um, and yeah, so right now I'm very happy, very proud for ourselves of the team that we have, and very proud for every single person that come with us and give us the opportunity to show Panama, and not just during the tour, but also the opportunity we have with some of the people that have already moved here. They're about to move here to assist them and make sure everything is as smooth, as easy as possible.
And possibly even be neighbors.
Yeah.
And likely lifetime long friends.
Yep. Yeah. So this is the story of this Colombiano.
Oh, you finished already?
There's a lot more he could say. We should just cut him off now.
Yeah, you better cut me out because I can go in all until midnight. People don't have all the time to listen to that.
I just want to spend the first 5 minutes of this call, because many of you on this call, there's now almost 70 of you. I see the names and I recognize them on this year's tours and on the backup list. And just to be fair, we haven't been able to give you a lot of information. We still can't give you certainties, but I want to let you know where we are. So I want to grab my screen or share my screen with you. We are currently in a situation of Panama has had one of the strongest lockdowns around the world. If you guys have read any of my articles about it, you'll understand it. Seems to have worked well. We have a 6-block opening structure to get our economy back going. Everyone's different. Like I've seen, being a Canadian, I've seen Canada, knowing so many of you from the US, you're explaining to me your get back to normal strategies. And, I think it's all going to happen. So our first block started the middle of May, and the second one starts on Monday. And it's a big one for us because they're lifting the quarantine, so we can freely roam the streets during the day. So MINSA, which is the government agency that is controlling our response to the virus, is the Department of Health, wants to see 10 to 14 days between the blocks. So June 1 is block 2. That puts block 3 at June 15th, is retail sales, stuff like that. And that puts block 4 at, which is air transportation, hotels, restaurants, as July 1. Now, we don't really know yet what this air transport means, because we need to do a tour. We need to get you here where you're not quarantined for 14 days, like many states are doing, many provinces are doing, and we're doing. But block 5 is non-essential recreational transportation. That if we can get to block 5 by July 15th, I am pretty convinced that we're back in business doing full tours. Now, what does that mean for the July people? It's going to be tight. I'm going to be communicating with you once a week of what's happening with that tour. We're going to see some amazing prices in airfare, so please hold off and don't book anything now that unless the airlines are telling you that's 100% refundable or changeable or stuff like that. And then block 6 is the final one. We don't need that to operate tours. It's concerts, fairs, discotheques. Sorry, we won't be able to go to the disco on our tour. But your people in July, let me go back here. In August, if you're booked for our tours, we're probably going to be looking like this most of the tour. If you don't like that, let me know, and I'll move you into fall somewhere, and we'll get you on one of those tours. Because Panama's government, and we all have to do what our government says, especially us as a company. If they tell us masks are mandatory, and they will be for the next few months, we're going to be wearing masks. So, but that being said, when you're outside, when we're at the beach, no, we don't have to wear a mask. But anyways, that's where our tours are. We have a ton of people on our backup list. I might have to actually close it by the end of this weekend. But tours for 2021 for those of you that want to come with us, I would really suggest, right now we have a no deposit offer, and that will be over by the end of this weekend. So if you want to book, if your plan is for next year, come on one of our tours, get one of those spots now, because you don't have to put a deposit down. But now that we're pretty well confirmed for, it's not going to be a problem for 2021, we got to start taking the deposit so we can start putting money down with hotels and stuff like that and start confirming the future of the company. So that being said, now the rest of the call is for you guys. Now, this is where you're going to find we're a little bit different. It doesn't matter if you're coming on a tour with us, you're still going to get your answers today. And even if you're looking for recommendations from how to move your pet here, or what is the best insurance and stuff like that, we're going to give you all that stuff. It's like we don't charge for that information. The benefit is taking the tour is the experience, and we're going to hold your hand throughout the entire process. So we're going to protect you through that process, and you will really get to know whether this country is where you want to live on those 7 days that you spend with us. Okay, so for questions, there's two ways you can do it. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. You can, people on that video, you can raise your hand, I can unmute you, or you can type it in the chat. And I got a list of email questions. Everyone always emails me the questions. Now, I no longer in Zoom have an unmute all button, which usually gets too noisy anyways. But if you guys want to start out, if you don't see the chat, again, just touch your screen or hover over, you'll see it down at the bottom. And they start coming in. Okay, so type your questions in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask the question.
We have a first question. Rob.
Yeah. I'm from California, planning to move to Panama. Do I have any preferred moving company, reliable, reasonable ones? I need to move one car, small SUV, and some stuff. Oscar, talk about moving stuff to Panama, do's and don'ts, our recommendations, and then we'll get the person the company they need.
Okay, so for moving to Panama, there is one company or one person that I know does shipping for like containers. We also have another person in Boquete that can ship some stuff. About the vehicle, depending on the vehicle, I would highly suggest to better sell it in the States and just get a new one here, something that you can find service, something you can find parts. If it is a vehicle that you know, if you let me know what type of vehicle in the year, because sometimes the hassle, what you have to pay to import the vehicle, it might be not worth it. I would highly suggest, and it's just, sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Sometimes the best and the easiest is to sell it back in the States and you get a new one or a second hand here in Panama. There's plenty of cars here in Panama, and also a car that you know that is reliable here, like Toyota, Nissan, Suzuki. We have Lexus as well. Some of the really high-end vehicles like the Lexus line or BMWs or Audis, you get the service in Panama City. Some brands you can get service in David or some main towns in Panama.
One of the biggest problems you're going to have, especially if you bought the vehicle while the vehicle is running in California, is your emission system. It's totally different. The emission, we don't have emission laws like California does. If they see a catalytic converter under your vehicle, guess what? They're going to tell you to go somewhere else. They don't know how to fix it. They don't know how to set up your computer. They're not trained on U.S. cars. So unless it's something very, very special that you want to bring, it's usually not worth bringing. The other thing for you people thinking about moving here, and I've seen this way too many times, people pack up their appliances, their ranges, their fridges, their washer, dryers, move everything here. Houses don't have 220 volts in Panama. So your electric range and your dryer doesn't work here. Try to find a rental or even a purchase home that has a 42-inch spot to put one of those giant 6-burner ranges or a double wide fridge. It's just not going to happen. So I find people ship all their stuff here, and then they're looking for storage for it. So get the information first. So now, if you've made your decision, and we haven't talking to you out of it, the most important thing here, guys, is because of COVID-19 and all this stuff, many of our suppliers are in the middle of changing. I'm trying to type an email address. I can't do two things at once, right? I'm typing my email in the chat. Those of you who are, make sure you have it, or just go to Retire in Panama Tours to fill out the form. So for referrals and recommendations, most of the time I'm going to tell you to email me your situation, and then I'll find it. Because even from California, typically your container is going to leave from Florida. I know it's kind of weird, but yeah. But there are some other options. So you can, if you're looking for, if you made your decision, okay, I'm moving the car, I need a 40-foot, I'm moving all my furniture, let us know, because I'm going to reach out to some people. Most of these companies haven't even been working for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of people just check luggage restrictions on airlines and bring as much luggage as they can, maybe bring a friend or a child to help, not a small child, but a grown child, to help them bring as much luggage as they possibly can.
Yeah, that's
one. Hey, Ron, if anyone is booked on the July tour already, if I've confirmed you and you have a booking on the July tour and we cancel it, we will, like, I know our website says sold out, sold out, sold out. I'm holding spots just in case, because you guys are our priority. I'm not talking about the backup list. I'm talking about the people that are confirmed for spots on the July tour. If it doesn't happen, you're going to have your choice of when you come. So don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question. How hard is it to bring a dog into Panama from the USA? It's crazy difficult, but easy if you follow the instructions. Yeah. Hard to say.
That's the best way to describe it.
It's a 10-day window that I have seen people pulling their hair out as I'm trying to help them go through this. If you go to the website, Retire in Panama Tours, and just search pets, you'll find the instructions. I keep it updated all the time. If you're on one of our tours and we're doing the dogs, I'm going to be doing it with you step by step.
Actually, I'm an accredited veterinarian in the United States in about 4 different states. And I advise you way before you're planning to move to get in touch with your veterinarian, see if they're USDA accredited, because the rules in all countries can change very suddenly, and you want to make sure you get the proper paperwork done.
Exactly. It's like you'll see that in my article, what accreditations your vet has to have to fill out this form. So, but if you prepare right, and then you have a 10-day window that you got to get the, have the shots done before, and then you got to have the international health certificate filled out by the accredited vet. And then you got to send that information to the USDA. Then you get it back, then you got to send it to the Panama embassy. Then you got to get it back, and then you got to send these copies to the airport, the place, I forget the name of the department, but it's in the article, with fax numbers and emails, and confirm that they have it. And you need to arrive Monday to Friday, 8 till 8 is the best, to make sure there's a vet on duty. And you pay $130 for a home quarantine. Otherwise, your pet is taken away for 40 days, which you don't want. And plus $15 for the vet fee. So about $150 on this end, plus whatever all your fees are and authentications are in the States. Most people tell me at the end, people do it from different countries and different states, they end up, it's a $500 bill for sure, because the airline's going to charge you too, obviously. Now, we do offer that service here. We have several people across the country that help us with it. We can walk you through the entire process. We can send the documents to the airport. We can confirm with the doctors that they have everything and they're expecting you, meet you at the airport, get you in a nice SUV with your dog, with your luggage, to your final destination. So if you're interested in something like that, just let us know. Mm-hmm. But you can do it all by yourself if you follow the information on the website. Does that make?
That the process can change quite suddenly. In Panama, the rules change often, so we do stay up to date on those things, and we would let you know of that too.
And sometimes we have to check like day week on week. Last time that we were doing a people relocation service, their email, the official email, which everybody knew or had, the website
for the airport veterinarian wasn't working.
It wasn't working.
So we called and got the new one, but nothing online was updated.
Yeah. So that's some of the tricky parts.
Yeah, and then Oscar phones them and say, hey, we got this person coming in 2 days. Everything good? Do you have their paperwork? And I myself have gone through the paperwork many times, so I confirm it. I, check it out. Okay, next question. After arriving in PC, what are the documents to get from the embassy? How much lead time in advance for making an appointment? Donna, is that from you? Yeah. What documents are you looking for at the embassy?
The driver's license.
Oh, to get the driver's license.
Yeah.
You need to figure out, see, you want to come here in July.
Yes.
The embassy, those things are going to be in part of Block 3, Administrative and Professional Services. They're not even going to open until June 15th. So you're going to have to get on the phone with them, and once you have your airfare set and your time here set to get an appointment to get the driver's license authenticated, all you need is your driver's license and your passport and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So that goes, I'll go in a little bit more detail about that. If you're going through residency in Panama, it's a 2-stage process. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get a temporary residency card and about 4 to 6 months to get your permanent residency card, no matter what visa you go through. The thing is, once you get your temporary, your foreign license is no longer valid. So it's always good to plan ahead, because before COVID-19, the U.S. Embassy was 2 months behind in getting their making appointments. So people were finding out, the lawyer would say, hey, you got your temporary residency card. By the way, your license is no longer valid. And people were driving around for 2 months without a license. So that's something to certainly consider. Buses and public transportation. I've never been on one. Well, no, I have a couple of times. But Megan lived right in the, like I'm seriously, with the Peace Corps. Megan lived with Panamanian families I've been to her place in the middle of nowhere. How'd you get around?
Yeah.
How easy was it to get around? What are the costs to get around?
Super affordable. It depends if you're just going somewhere locally, like I would get a bus from my community to the major city of David, which was about an hour bus ride, and it was $1.50 one way, so not too bad. And once you know the schedule of the buses from where you're living, it's super easy. And mostly, I mean, like in Boquete, it's every 30 minutes a bus is leaving from Boquete to David. If you want to get a bus from Panama City to David, that's about 8 hours, and it's like $17.
$17, yeah.
So the transport is super affordable, and there's always a guy, there's a driver, and then a guy kind of hanging out the door yelling where he's going to.
We call it we call it the pavo, which translates Turkey. No idea what is that.
Super random. But you can flag them down, and if you know a little bit of Spanish, you can tell them where you're trying to go, and they'll tell you if it's the right bus or wait for the next one. So it's really safe, really simple.
For that one, only you need to know is if your Spanish is not there yet, or just to know the word in Spanish where you're going. Because in Panama City, some of them will start yelling, like, hey, Bacamonte, or Chorrera, or whatever. They start yelling at it. And then you hear that, oh, you're going this place. You just spell the name of the guy. Okay, yes.
Make sure you verify.
Yeah, make sure you verify a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, write it down, show them a piece of paper. That's what I used to do. Even with my taxi drivers when I first got here, because I couldn't even say stop in Spanish, apparently. I used the words, but they don't stop this car. Like, you have a piece of paper where you're going. It always helps. Okay, Donna, 2-layer fabric mask accessible, and any mask to the law here in public places where you are within 2 meters of other people, you have to wear a mask. You can buy these ones for 50 cents. This is a surgery mask. Same mask that doctors and nurses have worn in surgery for the last 50 years. And they're between 50 cents and $1. So, buying a car with cash or is financing available? I'm going to say cash. If you've been here a long time and you can prove some income and have a 30 to 50% down payment, you might find someone that can finance. You might find a private deal very, very easily. A lot of people flipping cars. There's a lot of people, you know, even people with money here, they want to change. You get to know them and they'll sell you cars. So lots of private deals available. Okay, Twyla, I'm a quitter. Wait, that's not what it says. I'm a quilter. Twyla is a quilter. He is not a quitter. Who can talk about the quilting industry there? Are you talking about, Twyla, are you talking about like quilting clubs and stuff? Twyla on the first page?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I only know this area of the country, and there's a huge quilting club here. They meet every week. They made so much stuff for the poor people here. They were making masks. So
they knit clothing for indigenous babies leaving the hospital that don't have clothing.
Here where I live, where I'm part of what's called a Quilters Guild. It's a group, and we get together monthly and have meetings and share what we make and stuff. And we do charity, and we also do quilts for the retired military. So I was just kind of wondering if there's any type of groups like that down there.
In Boquete, definitely is one.
Okay. And I'll definitely need, you know, once we get down there in a couple of years, I'll need to find somebody that has a big quilting machine to be able to do the quilting for me. I make the quilts. I didn't have to pay somebody to do the actual machine quilting on it for me.
Is that different than a sewing machine?
Well, I use the sewing machine to sew the pieces together to make the quilt top. And then I put there's like 3 pieces. There's the top, the batting stuff that goes in the middle. Then there's the backing. I put the 3 pieces together, then take it to a quilter, and they put it on a machine, and the machine does the actual quilting through the top and the bottom. And it's called a long arm machine. And I just didn't know if there was. I want to find a long armor.
With the president of the knitting club here, and they would probably know the answer to that.
Definitely. But we can help you to find that answer for sure.
Yeah. Last January, when I was there was a fundraiser for Los Amigos de Animales.
Yep.
One of the quilters there did a wonderful, donated some wonderful things that brought a lot of money to support the spaying and neutering of dogs and cats.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably my friend
Brandy.
Brandy. That's my friend Brandy. She's the one who kind of leads the group.
Yeah, Brandy.
Other sweet ladies, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Preparing our container, can we bring these things? This is William, be careful. Depending on how you ship. If you want the name of a company to move a few delicate boxes, and what I'm saying is delicate, is things like you're talking about here that you're not going to have any problems to, send me an email. I'll send you that guy. Leave it out of your container. We know a person who moved here last year that they didn't use someone I referred, and they had, and this lady is a crafter, and their broker listed leather on the document. Guess what happened to that container? The entire thing got pulled aside. We need a fumigation certificate. It took weeks. It was ridiculous, the amount of work that had to go into that. So if you want to bring store blocks, seal, power, supplements, if you got a big enough box, I got a guy, it's air freight, but still it's very reasonable. They'll get that to you anywhere in Panama, and you won't have to worry about customs on it. It's just a personal goods shipment. So if you want to send me an email, I'll send you that contact. Keep your container clean. Furniture, clothing, of this, that. You know, if you put something like beef jerky on it, they don't know. Customs here doesn't know what that means because we don't have beef jerky. Well, we do, but they don't know it under that term. And so it causes problems and the worst thing you can have is a delayed container pulled into custom because it could sit for 30 days and next thing you have is mold. Okay, I want to introduce you guys to somebody on this call. His name is Michael V. I can never say your last name, Michael. Isn't that funny? I've known you for years.
Vitovich. It took me a while too.
Vitovich. Perfect, perfect. Anyways, one thing you're going to find out about us if you come on our tour, we're not taking you to timeshare condos and feeding you food and getting you to buy. We don't do that. But we understand you need to know the best rentals and the best purchases in this country if you're planning on buying. So we partnered with Michael and Inside Panama Real Estate a few years ago, Oscar and I, and they have offices throughout Panama. They have a huge rental lineup with specialists in that area because most people, even if you're buying, chances are you're not going to find something in your first week. You need a rental for 90 days. They have tons of beach stuff, tons of mountain stuff, and stuff like that. So he is on our front screen there. Wave. You're Michael. You're going to meet him. And I'm introducing him not only because I like him. There's a question I don't know how to answer. So Michael, this one's for you. If you buy a house, if there's no deferral of taxes, what is the usual real estate tax rates?
Well, that's a good question. They in January of this year, they lowered the tax rate, which was 2.1% of the registered value, which most of you would agree was pretty high. So they hadn't reevaluated the homes, maybe ever. So as the tax exemption was running out, the tax would be based on the registered value. Well, everybody knew how to play the game and register their home very low. So in January of this year, they lowered the tax rate. It's on a sliding scale. For most homes, it's 0.5%. So it came down from 2.1 to 0.5. When you get up to the more expensive homes, like a $700,000 or $800,000 home, it'll jump up to 0.7. So the taxes are very, very manageable here compared to a good deal of the rest of the world. And like I say, it's on a sliding scale. Most people will fall into the 0.5 range.
What did the base rate move to? It was 30,000. What's it now?
It's still 30,000. So anything that's registered at 30,000 or less, there is no tax. So you can understand why everybody registered their home at 30,000 or less.
So if your house is 100,000, do you pay that 0.5 on 70?
No, you'll pay 0.5 on the registered value. Today, the registered value will more than likely be what you actually paid for it. In the past, you could play games with that number, but it's much harder today, and they tend to report it at what you actually paid.
I would just like to tell you guys, Oscar and I picked Michael. We had met so many real estate people. Honestly, this is Latin American folks. You can, as you see, he's a former Californian himself, but he's been down here forever. He's got one of the biggest companies, honest company. He'll tell you to walk before there's going to be a problem on a deal. So
thanks, Brad. That's nice.
We're very happy to have him and his ladies and other guys with us. He has some great ladies handling rentals out in Cherokee. His wife has her own business because she can't work with the guy. But no, she has her own business in Coronado where she has like 100 units available for rent. So in high rises. So we're gonna meet him. Him and his wife will buy his lunch one day. It's on the tour. It's fun. We'll be on the rooftops of condos.
Michael's in Coronado.
Yes.
Has Coronado
Coronado and Boquete.
Can we get an email?
I have
or
two
website?
at opposite ends of the country, and I go back and forth every 2 weeks.
Okay.
But to answer your question, yes, Coronado is very popular. It's a beach community. It's just over an hour outside the city, and it's got quite a large expat community. So expat communities tend to attract more expats.
Then you have like, besides Coronado, like Chame or?
Correct. Gorgona, San Carlos. Yes.
Okay.
Website.
Do you have a website to your Realty or?
I sure do. It's inside Panama Real Estate.
I'm just gonna pop that in the
Sure,
chat.
I will. I'll do that.
Okay. I got it. It's in front of me. Everyone. Okay, next question. Oh, it jumped. Okay, Oscar.
From Michael, everyone.
Yeah. Oscar, can you talk about all the places we hit up in the tours, including beaches and mountain towns?
Yes, I can do that. Well, Ronnie?
In 3 minutes or less.
In 3 minutes or less. We started in the city, do a city tour, showing the best things like at Panama Canal, the Barrio Museum, get to meet our fantastic team of lawyers. Then we go to Coronado. We get to meet with Mike, we hang out with him, see some options in Coronado, Gorgona. After lunch, we go up to the mountains to the town of Valle de Antón, which is another town in the mountains that is more comfortable temperature. And it's also close to the city. And we spend one night there. The next day, we take a back road to the beautiful sightseeing mountains. You can see the Pacific Ocean from some of the spots. And we go to back to the Pan American Highway, go to Chitre, Las Tablas. And we just show some of the options. And then we end up that day in Pedací. We spend one night. Pedací is in the province of Los Santos. Herrera, Los Santos. Sorry. And then we spend one night there. We get to hang out a little bit. That area of Panama is also really beautiful. Smaller town, more simple, with also beautiful sense of community. It's potentially is growing, developing. Every year is developing way more. And then after that, we drive back to the Pan American Highway to stop by Santiago. We go, depending on the group, we can stop at the Price Mart to show a little bit what it is, some of the stores, to get a little bit exposure, different services during the tour, always, every single day. Then we go to spend one night for a relaxed beach time at Las Lajas. It's one of the best beaches in the Chiriquí province. It has about 14 kilometers long distance for a walk, and it's very safe for swim. And then after that, we go the next day to Boquete. We usually try to be on time for the Tuesday market, and we got meet up with the other team. There could be some assessment for the banking, insurance, and we have a night. That night we spend 2 nights in Boquete, and the next day, depending of how is the mood, because the beautiful thing about having a small group, we can always change and accommodate and be spontaneous. That's why my number of 10 people, it works so beautifully. Let's say if we having a day going to Volcano Cerro Punta, but everyone don't feel attracted to that area, we don't go. We go somewhere else that you might like, or we do something else. So that's the benefit.
Perfect.
So it's pretty much split half and half between mountain town options and beach options.
Yeah. And also we have for those, I mean, maybe perhaps interested, you want to create your own group or your own private tour. You want to just focus on mountains or focus on just beach areas or focus on islands. We can make it happen.
That too.
Yeah. So you just tell us, jump and just answer how high. Simple.
Yeah, if you're interested in private tour, because you only want to see certain places, but still want all the advantages of meeting with all the experts one-on-one, just go to the website. You'll see the private tour list there. John, he asks, are memory foam mattresses available? Actually, there's an excellent guy in Bocas del Toro province, right on the island, that sells tons of them. Amazing product. And you can buy them in other places too. But if you want toppers and stuff like that, yeah. Okay.
Hello, David.
Does everyone have to wear a mask or just the different businesses? Well, no. Like right now, the rule is if you are in a public place, retail store, anything like that, if you can't keep more than 2 meters away from people, you have to wear a mask. So, but I'm sure those rules, as we get through this, will be relaxed slowly. I'm all for it. Like I have no problem. I find these so comfortable now. I just, if I don't have time to shave in the morning, I just put a mask on. No one knows. It's perfect. So, are there any dog breeds that are not allowed in Panama? It's more of, is there any dog breeds that aren't allowed on your airplane? I know people that have brought pit bulls here and bull terriers, so they allow those, but the problem is getting them here because the airlines don't allow certain breeds. So I haven't heard yet. If you have a specific breed that you're concerned about, please email me and I will get you the exact answer. So, but I don't know of any at this point.
As long as it's not a bear. No?
A wolf.
A wolf or Grandinese. That probably will get a special.
I recently did a relocation tour to Belize as COVID began. On that, we visited properties around each area. Yes, we're going to see properties that are available for rent. Some of them are also available to purchase. But the goal is in every area to be able to show you a home. Okay, this is what you can get for this much dollars. And we do that throughout the country, just so you know. And if you were to buy it, it would be this much dollars. That type of stuff. Can you bring garden seeds or plants? You can bring them, but you need special forms filled out to send here. So you can't bring them on you, like on a plane or anything, but you can have them shipped here, but you've got to fill out all the paperwork. It's a pain in the butt, to tell you the truth. Depending on what you're looking for. We live in the tropics. Almost anything grows here. You might find it here. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and I also want Oscar and Megan to talk about this because of their experience with Latin America. I'm planning to move to Panama, and my mother in a wheelchair would need to come with us. Are there considerations for wheelchair-bound people? Okay, consider this 1970 in North America as far as wheelchair accessible. That's where we are. Many restaurants do not have, or stores do not have, unless they've been built in the last 10 years, do not have wheelchair accessibility or wheelchair accessible bathrooms. Many rentals do not have that. Businesses have never yet been forced here to put that in unless they're being built new. So we have a new mall being built, 40-store mall being built 25 minutes from here, and guarantee you the entire thing is going to be wheelchair accessible. So it's difficult. Infrastructure here is poor. Sidewalks are poor. Streets are poor. Typically, you will see people here in wheelchair, their spouse or their assistant pushing them down the street because the sidewalks are in that bad condition. So it's something you need to consider. If you want to move into a gated community, you're going to have a lot better chance there. Like it's going to be a lot better because you don't have the traffic around and stuff like that. Okay, Oscar and Megan, Latin American version of wheelchair accessible. What are your thoughts?
In some cities are way more access. In the capital, Panama City, you have more access for bridges and sidewalks in some areas, not every single area. Boquete,
ramps, elevators.
Yeah.
The rest of the country?
Not really, because most people, especially if somebody has a wheelchair problem, usually will have a person that's going to transport it in their own vehicle. And vehicles here are not that sophisticated, not even very, very rare. Only the metro buses in Panama City has a ramp, and that's the only one. So, yeah,
it's possible, but definitely we're not up to the same handicap regulations like in the States.
Exactly. Some other countries are more, but this Panama is still a little bit need to push to evolve in that regards for handicap access. Yeah.
The part two of your question, what about healthcare hospitals, or is Panama more for active people? healthcare in hospitals is excellent here on the private unit. If your mother is over 70, she won't be getting any type of full healthcare insurance here. She might be able to opt into some of the co-pays after a waiting period and stuff like that. I would need a little more specific details on your situation, and maybe you want to talk to our healthcare expert. Feel free to send me an email, and I can connect you. Because the worst thing I see is people move here, they're 71 years old, and a year later they found out the healthcare they were expecting is the health insurance they were expecting is not available to them, and they have to self-insure. Well, you can do that in the public healthcare system here. Some people accept it, are okay with it, but it's totally not like North America. The private healthcare system is like North America. It's excellent. It's high-end, private rooms, all that. So that's what I would suggest. L. Smith. Send me an email with a little bit more of your details. To keep it a little more private between us and about the situation. I know many people who have brought their parents here. So first of all, don't worry about that. I know many people getting old here. Look at Michael. What, you just turned 70? No, just kidding. So many people grow old here. Many, like the Panamanians, but the Panamanians aren't used to what we're used to in North America. You see Panamanians with their canes and walkers down the street, and sometimes you got to help them out of a car or get stuff like that. They deal with it. But anyways, Gary, in what block will the Tuesday market be open? I honestly don't see that opening before block 6 at the very end. If you've ever been to the Tuesday market, it's like the New York subway system at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, so many people are there. And that would probably fall under fairs and carnivals, because there's 1,000 people just jump in there and, all under the same roof.
That's one of the highlights when you get to Boquete.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Pretty fun day, the Tuesday market.
The social event of the week for expats.
Yeah,
it is.
Pretty fun.
Okay, Karen, I'm gonna try to explain the driver's license process because it is complicated. Now, first of all, this is if you already have a current valid North American or European or Australian driver's license. That driver's license will be good here and will be exchanged for a Panamanian driver's license, but it has to be authenticated by your local embassy. So if you're a Canadian, you go to the Canadian embassy, here's my driver's license, my passport, please authenticate this for me, I'll be back tomorrow. If you're US, you gotta wait longer. I'm sorry, if you're European, you gotta find a consulate or an embassy that can deal with you. Then you go to what you guys in the States call the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. We call it ATT here. Then you go there and you say, I want my Panama driver's license. Here's my authentic US one. You fill out a bunch of paperwork. You do an eye test and an ear test and point to one stop sign or something like that. It's a simple test. And then you're issued that license. And your first license that you get will be valid until your temporary visa is valid. And then once you get your permanent visa, then you go back to AT&T, show them your permanent visa, and they'll switch it for a 5-year license. Or is it 4-year? 4-year license. So I hope that helps. Anyone can apply for a driver's license at the same time. Well, you don't apply. Once you get your temporary visa, you have to have a temporary visa to get a Panamanian license. So the best thing to do is have your license already authenticated. By the time you get your temporary visa, that day you go to the ATT and you get your temporary driver's license that works alongside your temporary visa. Is that, Karen, does that answer, did I explain that well enough? If not, catch me right now so I can clarify. Yeah, okay, perfect. Are there any seamstress available to make or alter clothing. They're called modistas in Panama, aren't they, Oscar? I will unmute you. How's that?
Sorry, modista for a tailor, yes.
And they're available all over the place or what? How do you find
in some main towns, they're available, but sometimes there is not like many businesses or people offering formally the services. Usually when you know, you ask around, depending where you are. In the city, there is more formal type of service. Here in Boquete, it's like I know some people, so if somebody asks me, oh, I need to get this done, I'll tell you, okay. Now you can go to this person. It depends how what specific you need or to get it done. Some people might be better than others, but it is options for sure. You can get that services here.
Yeah. I've actually used them. I bought all new curtains for my house, and I needed them all trimmed. So this is my modista story. So I went to, okay, I need them like this by that. Well, when I picked them up, they were like this by that. Because my Spanish is horrible, and she didn't speak a word of it. So I brought Oscar back next time, and she got it right.
I told him if he wanted some assistance, no, I can do this. I got this. I got it.
I can do it myself. So I explained it all to her, and they came out back. Wasn't her fault. She did a great job.
Yeah. It was a 10 for the effort, though.
A for effort.
A for effort.
E for effort?
A.
I'm losing my English sayings. They're just...
Okay, I think I missed something. My screen popped up.
Let's see. An art center or clay studio in Boquete. Ceramic supply stores in David.
Ceramics, like what kind of ceramics? Like a porcelain ceramics?
It says clay.
If it's clay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is production here, mostly in the interior of the country, like the area of Herrera, Los Santos, a lot of the artisanal manufacture. Here in Boquete also there is people that do that.
There are art groups, art classes.
And then the library in Boquete, sometimes they do artwork.
They do exhibits on the 3rd floor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. With local artists. And there are craft stores in David.
Yes. And then for someone they wanted to find some fabrics, Panama City and the province, town like Las Tablas, there is a lot of fabric stores.
David has large fabric stores too.
Right now, but now even better with the new mall, it's going to be some of that.
Sure.
What else?
Yuri, if you're coming on a tourist visa, will customs have any problem with your non-controlled medication? Customs here won't have a problem. You know, if it's in a prescription bottle, if you got it in a baggie, you might want to, avoid that. But, the customs here, I remember when I first moved here, they had a sign that they had a really bad English translation under it as you walk down migration about that we are looking for drugs and money laundering. Enjoy Panama. Like basically that's what they look for here. If you have,
so you don't need prescriptions?
Yeah, if you have prescriptions in prescription bottles, you won't have any problem bringing them into Panama.
But you don't need the prescription per se?
No, like as long as it's in a prescription bottle with the doctor on it. And yeah, you won't have any problems there. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
This is great. I've brought medicines with me every time I've come, and nobody's ever even asked. But it's always a good idea to have a prescription with you, though.
Yeah.
When you travel.
I used to travel out of the country once a month for several years here, and I've been checked. Well, I've been pulled into customs once because I had a giant bag full of books. And it looks like bricks of something, obviously. So that's the only thing that they scan. So, okay. Hey, Mike, you can help me with this because I never know if I'm right. What is the average cost to build a home per square foot? Let's start with basic, mid-range, and luxury. Can you answer that?
Okay. Well, for your basic house, you'd probably get quotes and be reasonably satisfied at approximately $50 to $60 a square meter. If you're looking for more of a North American style home, it's going to be, I'm sorry, that $50 or $60 was per square foot. If you're going to build more of a North American style home with, granite countertops and tile floors and so forth, you probably should bank on about $1,000 a square meter or $100 a foot to have the finishings that most North Americans are typically accustomed to. If you get into a much more expensive home, of course, you're going to pay more because it's the finishings that'll rack it up pretty good for you. I'd say the average medium prices are around $1,000 a square foot, a meter, 100 a foot.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
When Oscar and I don't know, we don't make it up. We find the answers. And Michael joined us, so that really helps. Okay, Francis and Tito, what precautions are going to be in place once touring is allowed against COVID-19? We don't know that. We already know our airport is closed right now, going under major renovations. They are going to be using heat cameras. They have been, like even before case one, that your temperature is being taken when you get on the plane, when you get off the plane. Do not come here if you have a fever. It's just going to be a hassle. All those things are done. We take precautions. When you go to a grocery store here, the forehead temperature is taken, and they spray hand sanitizer all over you. So, so there are a lot of precautions being done here already. Where they're going to go with that, in each of us, like we probably represent the 60, 70 of us here that have been on the call. Probably, well, I know it's 5 countries that I know of so far and 30, 40 states. Everyone is going through this now, and everyone is doing it a little bit different on how we progress out of COVID. In Panama, we had a strong lockdown, but we have maintained a below 1 contagion number for almost 30 days now. Our recoveries are higher than our new cases. So they're allowing the relaxation. And as long as we help wear the mask, wash your hands, don't do stupid things, don't throw parties with 100 people. Sorry, Oscar, no birthday party. As long as we do that, I think we're going to come out of this thing. Because, and we as an entire world, I can't say nation, all have to work together to make sure this happens. So Oscar and I are always on the positive side of this. But realistically, we all have to be careful if we're going to make this happen.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking, like here they've talked about people who are asymptomatic. And as your country opens up, there's odds that asymptomatic people may come in and cause a small spike or whatever. But I was thinking too, is when you're going on the tour, will there be things like disinfectant or the vans that we
on our side, I've already ordered piles of masks, gloves if we need it. The van, the vehicle, right now our vehicles are disinfected once a day, but we'll be doing it all day long. We'll be doing all those things. We'll be eating in restaurants. The restaurants will be great because they're pre-planned meals, so they're going to have a separate area just for us. In the right distancing. We know all the hotels. We're great with them, so we're going to be giving them the requirements, what we want. If you want our business, you're doing this for us. So.
And then the last thing you had mentioned that the 14-day quarantine is going to go away at what block?
We don't know. It has to go away before we start our tours. So if it goes away in block 4, July to go. And I don't want to pressure anybody. Anybody in July, most of you in July, you paid for the tour or you paid your deposit. You don't have to come if you don't feel right. You won't lose your deposit. You can pick any tour you want. I have a backup list of July of already 12 people. that want to come in July. So we only want people that, for sure, like even if it's 4 days before the tour, we're gonna move you. We're gonna look after you. If you come down with a fever or you start sniffling and you think, okay, maybe I should wait till September to do this, you know. So we're gonna work with you. So don't worry for the people on here that are already booked. So.
Okay.
Do you suggest a specific bank in Boquete? I will answer this only because I can get you set up with a bank account to get you going. I'm not going to recommend a bank account to do investments with and do that. But once you're here, and we'll show you some other options. There is only one bank account in this country, one bank that you can open up an account when on our tour on the day you're here. There's only one account that can do it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Here at home, here in where I live, I do a lot of cooking. I've got all kinds of electrical cooking equipment, ricers and Instant Pot and fryers and all that. When you rent a house down there, they're just going to have just the basics in the kitchen, right?
Yes.
So if I want to do the kind of cooking that I do, I would want to bring my stuff down there for moving down there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. You can buy an Instant Pot here, but if you already own one, what you got to consider is how much does the thing weigh and what's it going to cost me to get it here. So if you can sell it at a garage sale for $30 and you can come down here and buy one for $60, do it. But if you can't sell it, then you might as well bring it down and ship some small boxes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Bring those things down.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
I want to go back to the tours. We haven't booked ours yet. We plan to book it in January or February, but we live in a part of the country in Missouri that we get crappy ice storms a week before we're supposed to fly out of somewhere. So when you said that you would rebook, could we, if we booked for January and we had an ice storm 3 days before we were supposed to get there, can we rebook it for March?
Well, here's the problem with that. Under normal times, we can't do that. This is the problem. But by the time we collect your money 30 days before, we have paid for all the hotels in your name. We paid for a domestic airline flight ticket in your name, and we can't change those.
Okay.
Because we get discounted rates at the hotel. Airlines, as you know, it's in your name. And so we can use it at a later date. Sometimes in emergency situations, the customer comes first. So I'm not going to say to you no here, but I've had a major health situation at a tour 4 days before a tour. We looked after it, okay? Now,
let me offer a suggestion.
Is it going to be 100% refund? No, because we're out money. Are we going to lose some money? Maybe we will, but it's important to us that our customers happy and they end up coming with us down the road.
Ron,
so, yes?
I'd like to offer a suggestion on that because I'm from Missouri also, and I came this year in the January tour. My layover was in Houston, so I flew into Houston a day before and spent the night in Houston.
Okay.
That was just in case there was crummy weather in Kansas City.
Okay. That's a great idea. Okay. Yeah, great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes for some of the traveling, better to plan ahead and prepare for the worst, open the best. Even here in Panama, when let's say you live in the opposite side of the country of the international airport, sometimes people they have the flight at 2 p.m. and they want to drive 6 a.m. And that's pushing it because a tire can explode, anything happen. It's always better to try to drive or travel the day before, stay by the airport, and that's one way. Like Donna suggests, like better to just fly the day before so you can stay in a more safe area.
Yeah, for sure.
We often have some people get here a little bit early, a couple days early. You can get here, get settled in the city, and we can help you arrange those nights.
We can assist you with that one as well.
Okay, thank you.
Going back to the banking question that someone had, I just did something today my girlfriend recommended. If you have a U.S. bank account and you want to basically withdraw money from there are 2 brokerage firms that you can set up cash accounts with that don't charge a fee whenever you transfer money from your regular bank account down to Panama. You can use a debit card, Fidelity and Charles Schwab.
Yeah.
So basically, they'll reimburse your bank fees.
Yeah, it's all good. I know some people here, I don't understand it, that have lived here for years and never opened up a local bank account. And they rely on the ATMs working. Anytime around Panama holidays, good luck getting money out of an ATM. They're empty by Saturday afternoon, and no one's around to fill them till Monday. So it's so easy to open a bank account here. It's one of the safest banking jurisdictions in the world. And I'm not telling you to move all your assets to Panama, but just, you know, you can have, I know people that have done that and have their Social Security deposited into their Panama bank account. So they don't have to worry about those ATM fees. You end up with you can get a credit card here, you can get a debit card here, all that stuff. Okay.
$5 for $500.
What's that?
It adds up to $5 for a maximum of $500. It adds up after a while.
That's what I mean. Open a bank account here so you don't have to worry about stuff like that. So I don't.
Make sure to remember to report it on your taxes.
Well, yeah. You U.S. citizens have to do that. Yeah, there's a spot on there. They want to know everything.
Yeah, they want to know the maximum amount every year that you have money in foreign accounts.
Yeah, crazy. But they'll know anyways, because to open an account here, you got to fill out a W-9. So the bank does that reporting for you now here. Okay, let's talk, Oscar and Megan, let's talk about ordering stuff from Amazon and other places in the U.S. and receiving packages here.
That's one of our favorite hobbies.
Yeah.
Ordering stuff on Amazon. It's very easy. We all use mailboxes, etc. So you get a Miami address, and you can get it, just an address for, you don't have to pay any money for it. And then anytime you ship something and you get a package, you'll have an ID number on your address that is linked to whatever office in the world where you live. So for us, it's Boquete. We go to the office in town. There's an app on your phone that alerts you when your package is there. You go in, and if you're not paying for a monthly plan, then you pay based on the weight of the package, or per a certain amount if it's an envelope. But it's not very much as long as it's not too heavy. Rod has a plan, so he does monthly.
Yeah. We'll always set you up. We'll bring you into their office, show you how it works. I recommend Mailbox for people that come here because you're going to need a mailing address for your letters. Most people still get letter mail, whether it's the bank, Social Security, all those places. And they just have, and in the beginning, you're going to be missing things. You're going to forget things. You're going to realize that, hey, they don't sell my deodorant in Panama. Well, okay, I got to order that from Amazon. And then, but once you're here after a year, you'll figure out how much you bring shipping, and there's lots of options in Panama. There's like 4 companies, just like Mailbox, etc. But depending on your buying habits, then you'll see which one's cheaper. Mm-hmm.
But honestly, you can find most things here. Mm-hmm. I'm in David or Panama City. It's more for the convenience sometimes. If there's certain products or brands that you can't find here that you really want to order.
Some of the brands are more expensive though. But
some electronic.
Yeah, if it doesn't weigh a lot, you can, like especially ladies with makeup, I notice they order a lot from Amazon. Prescription drugs, certain prescriptions are more expensive. Well, you can order them through your Mailbox, etc., and pay your U.S. price. And obviously, prescriptions don't weigh much. It costs you $3 to bring a prescription in. So. Mm-hmm. Okay, what is some typical grocery store costs? Okay, well, this is a tough one but I can kind of say a few, and then Oscar and Megan will say a few. Bananas cost 10 for $1. Avocados $1. Chicken $2.25 a pound for.
Yeah, it depends also if it's boneless or not.
Yeah.
Boneless chicken breast, the kilo is like $7, $8.
No, like very few people here. We have a few Canadians, but most Americans here need to know the pounds. So that
kilo is £2.
$3.40.
A little under 2 pounds.
Well, no, yeah, just the measurements.
I know what it is. I calculated it. I kept track of it 3 months in a row. I spend $200 a month here, and I eat most of my meals at home. Now, I eat a little different diet. I eat tons of vegetables and fruit twice a day. That's basically my meal. But it's just like if you buy from the grocery store, if you buy everything from the grocery store, you're going to spend more money. If you go to the farmers markets, the Mercados, the Tuesday markets, you're going to pay less. You can get some amazing pork chops here for $2 for an inch thick pork chop. You can get an amazing fillet here for just amazing prices, like a $20 fillet this big.
Yeah, I can get a full bag of greens for under $10.
Yeah,
a whole filet mignon for under $20 as well. So it's very, the food here is very affordable. You can still get a very good quality if you know.
You mean the full cut of meat?
Oh yeah, the whole piece, piece of. We're talking about probably I don't know how many pounds, but yeah, the whole.
Yeah. Can you handle food allergies on a tour? Yes. Before you come on a tour, there's going to be a form for you to fill out with a private medical form that you disclose. You're required to disclose all that stuff to you. Panama restaurants are getting really good with stuff like that. Most of them have gluten-free options. Most of them, they understand, hey, this person's allergic to shellfish, which I am. So it's really not an issue. So
I have another question.
Yes.
Here in the United States, we have Walmart in just about every town. What type of shopping do they have down there in Boquete in Panama that might be similar to Walmart?
We have Costco, which is under the name of Price Mart. We have Do It Center, which is Ace Hardware. So, that's for the home centers. Other than those, what other big ones do we have that would be in the U.S.? I don't think there's anything.
We have a lot of things that would be comparable to a large department store, or maybe like something comparable to a Target would be like a Rocha,
What?
Nothing with like a grocery store and department store items in one, but we have all of the options.
Well, actually, we don't have. Sorry, we have one little mall here in David that has a grocery store and department store, and it's called City Mall. That's one of the
That's one of the biggest.
One of the biggest, yeah.
Okay, from Jerry, do you have connections with people that can help start nonprofit? Yeah, I think Oscar might have some connections there. You should connect with Oscar. Send us an email, Jerry, and Oscar will get it and talk to you about that. That's something more you guys can talk privately about.
I can help with that too, Rodney.
Yeah, someone that can help with nonprofit. Perfect. Okay. Can you explain again? This is a big one. Everyone waits for it. We don't mind Oscar and Megan. I will just go through it because I've written so much on this. Healthcare. 3 options in Panama. Self-insured. You pay all your costs yourself. Okay. You can use the public system, which a hernia surgery, 2 days in a hospital will cost you $150. In the private system, it'll cost you $1,500 for the same thing. But some people decide to self-insure. They take $100 grand or something after they move here and sold their house. They put it in a bank account. That's their self-insurance. Okay. Number 2, you can get full international healthcare coverage if you're under 17 years old with no pre-existing conditions. Now that, myself, I'm 56. I pay $156 a month, and I have no deductible in Panama, and I have a $10,000 deductible outside of Panama. So, for example, if I get whacked by the bus tomorrow, I go in, they rebuild me, private healthcare system. I'm in the hospital for 30 days. I leave, the bill's 80 grand. So yeah, I pay nothing. So I have full private insurance. Private insurance here is not like the US. There's no co-pays. There's no, it doesn't work like that. It basically is a deductible, and I chose 0 in Panama, and then I chose a higher one outside. The third option is a combination of either co-pays or I call it disaster insurance, but it's called catastrophic insurance. The way the co-pay plan, and that's for anyone, even over 70 or people with pre-existing conditions. By the way, a pre-existing condition is not high blood pressure. A pre-existing condition is diabetes, heart disease, like the major stuff. Okay. So the co-pays are with private hospitals throughout Panama. You pay 30% of the fee, and they pay 70%. And they're very affordable, $100 to $200 a month, depending if you're 60 or 90. And the other one is a popular one with the older expats here is they're self-assuring for doctor's appointments and minor stuff, but they have coverage for disaster stuff. There's 8 things it covers: heart disease, cancer, catastrophic accident, which means injuries to more than one part of your body. So if you fall and break your ankle, it doesn't cover that. But if you fall and break your ankle and arm, it covers that. I know it's a silly rule. And nerve diseases, like there's 8 major things that it covers. Again, you can get coverage from that from as little as $75 to $150. So there's many different options, but everyone, I can't tell you. If you email me, don't even ask. I'm not going to tell you which one's right for you. You need to sit down with an agent. If any of you are heard out there that if you buy insurance through a broker in Panama, health insurance, you will pay twice as much, it's a myth. It's not true. If you buy insurance through a reputable broker, you'll pay the same price as if you phoned the company up. And I challenge any of you to try it. If you want a reputable broker, send me an email. She'll give you a quote. Go online to the company. And I've done this a dozen times myself just to prove the point that it's the same price. They don't mark it up, a reputable broker. They make their standard 7% commission, whatever it is, just like the real estate guys do. And I don't know what the commission is, but you don't pay any more with one than with the other. So whoever's telling you that you pay more if you go through a broker, it's just not true.
Okay, another question.
Yeah.
My husband and I are both diabetic, and you said that's pre-existing.
Yes.
What other conditions are like pre-existing? Like my husband has, I have high blood pressure.
Yeah, no, high blood pressure, if it's controlled by medicine, will not be considered as pre-existing.
Well, so I take medicine for my blood pressure, and my husband takes medicine for his cholesterol, and we both take medicine for our diabetes.
Yeah.
So those are all pre-existing?
No, the diabetes is pre-existing condition. And don't ask why. I don't write the international health. This is not Panama, by the way. This is international healthcare. These companies are from Spain and from other places. It's basically their rules. They don't consider if they put high blood pressure and high cholesterol as pre-existing conditions, they wouldn't sell any insurance. There's 50% of people over 60 who are taking medications for that.
So if we're diabetic, is it more difficult to get insurance down there?
It is, yes. It's more difficult, but you can get the copay insurance and the catastrophic insurance. You're going to have a 1 to 2 year wait time on certain conditions because of the diabetes. But to get an international healthcare insurance, which you would still qualify for because of your age, you would have a hard time getting that package.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Okay. How do most people pay for the service?
Okay.
The above is two different questions.
We have a visitor. She just wanted to say hi really
Want to
quick.
say hi?
Hey, Kira. Most people pay for service.
They don't need it sometimes.
Hey, Craig, I'm not sure I understand your question fully. How do most people pay for services? Do they use cash, credit card, debit card? The above is two different questions. Oh, sorry. Now I understand. Everyone, it's really no different than North America, except that some of the smaller restaurants and smaller places might not take credit cards. But you can pay, most places, however you want. They all take it. Okay. Megan, what do you know about vegan lifestyle? Any of your friends vegan? I don't know a vegan, so.
It's very easy in Phuket, or probably anywhere in Chiriquí, because this is basically, Kira's talking. This is basically the breadbasket of Panama, where all of the produce comes from. So we get really fresh organic produce here in Boquete. I know in some other areas of the country, it can sometimes be hard to find exactly the vegetables and fruits and specialty items that you might want as a vegan. But there's an organic store in Boquete that has all kinds of products, tofu, anything you could want as a vegan.
There's organic stores in different areas in the country. City has, I'm pretty sure near Coronado, gotta be one. Probably Mike will know.
However, you might want to be ready to do a lot of your own cooking. Boquete has a lot of options in restaurants and towns for vegan eating, but like I said, other than probably Boquete,
in general speaking, we're Latinos, we're meat eaters and eat tons of gluten.
If you love rice and beans, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And plantains.
Yeah. But the options are always there. And even if you go to the if you know what to pick, in some fondas that we call, you can still have a vegan meal. That's not an issue. It's just knowing what to pick, and fancy or not fancy, you usually can get by.
In any fonda, you could get a meal for under $5 with rice, beans, salad, sweet plantain.
Beans. Really good beans.
Yeah.
One thing I highly recommend is make sure when you're dining out, your restaurant understands vegan. I just saw a post on Facebook today that a burger place was advertising all the burgers, and the lady said, I really wish you had vegan options. And then the employee quoted back, yeah, just order the vegetable burger without cheese. Well, I'm sorry, the bread is that they have in those burgers are not vegan, because the bread has eggs in it, and it's got, so some restaurants don't fully understand here, and you might need to educate them a little bit. Okay, we are getting down to the end of the questions, which is fine because it is 4 minutes before we get cut off here. Who did we miss? Like, did I miss a question? My inbox is filling up, so thank you guys for emailing me the stuff we talked about. Question.
How do people
anything,
pay
maybe?
services? Oh yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. No.
My chat was scrolling on me by itself. I don't know. Oh wait, 2 new messages.
I think we got everything.
What products and services do you miss most from the States, Megan? And I'll answer the one from Canada. Anything you missed? We've been here like 3 years now.
Starbucks?
No, definitely not.
Well, we have Starbucks in there.
Think of anything. How weird is that?
Well, you have been very, adjust so well to what you can get here.
Definitely. I would definitely eat like a Panamanian now. I love rice and beans.
But sometimes she craves like a specific ice creams that we can get only a few stores.
Oh yeah, you can't find mint chocolate chip anywhere except Reba Smith.
Reba Smith has, and in our tour we go to check some of the very nice stores. You can get some of those items that you might miss from home once in a while, And
maybe like live music, concerts. I mean, there's live music and you can find it in local bars and stuff, but big name concerts don't come here often.
well, sometimes, but only in the city.
No, I mean not as often in the States,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not like Nashville.
Cool.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yes, Carol.
I want to know what you guys really mean by rainy season. I want to know.
Can you hear
I
it?
have the defeated weather on my phone app right now. It rains all day, every single day.
Yes.
Oh, not
We
at all.
have
And then it'll stop.
Yes.
yeah. So the rainy season here, the best way to describe it is bipolar.
Bipolar.
It really rains, but you don't know when it's gonna rain.
No.
Normally it's dry in the mornings. You still have sunshine. You still have the sun in the mornings. Normally that's the pattern.
Sunny
Now,
in the mornings, a short rainstorm in the afternoon, evening.
Yeah, right now we're going to a transition from the dry season to the rainy season, which is in between. It's called the green season. In that transition, we have sometimes a week or couple of weeks of showers in the afternoon. The last few days, as an exception, we have been a little more than that. The good thing here in Panama, it can be bad for some people, is when it rains like a cats and dogs.
Like wow.
But only for
2 inches an hour.
10 minutes, very short.
Or a few hours, but it's not showers all day long.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can see the sun here. You know, I said this once when I wrote about it. Probably 350 mornings a year, you'll wake up to sunshine, that sunny morning. Like Oscar said, we're in a transition, but typically April through November is, well, in April, it's 1 or 2 days a week. You get that afternoon shower for an hour. And then in November, it's every day of the week. You get that afternoon shower for an hour. And it transitions up there. So it's beautiful. I come from the upper west, from Vancouver, Canada, just above Seattle. The rainy season, you know, it starts raining in January and it finishes in April, like nonstop. So people are, you know, jumping off bridges by March. It's not like that.
Okay.
If it gets rainy too much, just, you know, go outside, start dancing under the rain. We're proud at it.
Hey, Michael, thank you very much for joining us. And you're going to be meeting a lot of people that you saw here. John, thank you very much, John. We hope to meet you. I'm sorry, Oscar, I'm jumping in. This thing actually does end in a minute.
Okay.
So.
Well, then bye, y'all.
Any other questions, email them to us.
And no bye. See you soon.
See you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Hasta la vista.
Buenas noches. Again, everyone, those of you who want to book, no deposits. It's still on until Sunday. Get it booked in there. Okay, we are really, I have a countdown on my end, by the way, guys. So it's less than 10 seconds.
Together. 10.
Yeah.
9.
9, 8. Okay, guys, have a super night. And please reach out, email, let us know what you're thinking. And hope to see you in Panama soon.